Name is Abhinav Nair, and today I am going to be talking about the topic system calls. What exactly system calls are, why do we need system calls, and what types of system calls are there. So, first of all, the question arises what are system calls? So, in computing, a system call is basically the programmatic way in which a computer program requests a service from the kernel of the operating system. System calls are made available by the operating system to provide well defined, safe implementation for such operations. A computer program makes a system call when it makes a request to the operating system's kernel. System call provides the service of the operating system to the user program via an application program interface. So the next question arises, why do we need system calls? So nowadays operating systems have to provide users not only with the highest possible level of comfort but also with maximum stability and security. That is why the developers of systems like Linux or Windows endeavor to keep the risk of potential system complications as a result of unintentional negligence or of targeted attacks from outside as low as possible. One of the most important steps taken to this end is the strict separation of the operation system core and application program or user process. The consequence of this is that programs or processes that do not belong to a system have no direct access to the CPU and memory and instead rely on the so-called system calls. So how do system call works? First, the process execution occurs normally in the user mode until an system call appears, due to which an interrupt occurs and the system control is switched from the user mode to the kernel mode, where the system call is executed along with the parameters that were passed with it. And after the execution of the system call is over, the control is again switched back to the user mode for further processing of the process that was already running. So the next question is what are the services provided? So these are some of the following services that the program used by initiating system calls. These are process creation management, main memory management, file access directory and file system management, device handling, protection, networking, etc. So now we are going to be talking about the prototype of system call. The prototype of system call has mainly three parts. First, the data type for the flag for completion status, which is usually being int or void. The resource descriptor, which defines the resource that is belonging to the OS which is targeted by the system call. And the parameters that are passed for computation or other purposes that will be needed for the system call function. So, what are the different types of system calls that are there? So, there are mainly five types of system calls which mainly classify into process control, file management, device management, information maintenance, and communication. Process control system calls are basically those which deal with processes such as process creation, process termination, etc. File management system calls are responsible for file manipulation such as creating a file, reading a file, writing into a file, etc. Device management. These system calls are responsible for device manipulation, such as reading from a device buffer, writing into a device buffer, etc. Information maintenance. These system calls handle information and its transfer between the operating system and the user program. And lastly, communication. These system calls are useful for inter-process communication and also deal with creating or deleting a communication connection. So these are the different types of system call that exist for Windows and Linux. And as we can see, for each different type of system call, there exists a Windows variant and a Linux variant. Now that we have learned about all these system call types in a basic form, we are going to be looking into each of the system call types individually to learn more about them. So first of all, we are going to be talking about process control system calls. Processes use the fork or create process system call to create processes that are a copy of themselves. This is one of the major methods of process creation in operating system. When a parent process creates a child process, the execution of the parent process is suspended until the child process executes. And when the child completes execution, the control is returned back to the main process. This is similar to how in a program, whenever a smaller function appears in the main function execution, then the main function execution control is transferred to the child function, and wherein the child function does all the calculation that is necessary for its functioning, and then after its execution it transfers the control back to the main function. Now we are going to be talking about file management system calls. File management system calls mainly deal with creating or deleting files, opening and closing files, reading or writing into files, getting the file attributes or setting the file attributes. And the example of these system calls are create file, read file, write file and close handle. These system calls are mainly used to read or write into data or for creating or deleting such a file like Word documents. Whenever we create a Word document, a system call is executed to create such a document, or whenever we open or close a file, similar system call is executed. Whenever we read or write into a Word document or any other type of document in which we store data, a read write system call associated to file management system call is executed, and along with that we can also get the file attributes that belong to the file that we are currently addressing. Like for example, if we want to know when was the file created, or when was the file last edited, we can find these using file management system calls. Now we are going to be talking about device management system calls. Device management system calls are mainly used for requesting or releasing device, reading or writing into device, getting the device attributes or setting device attributes, logically attach or detach devices. Example of these system calls are set console mode, read console and write console. The main use of this device management system calls are whenever we attach a new device to a system, the system needs to know what the purpose of this device that we have attached is, whether it's an input device or an output device, or whether it has a function that the system might need to know about. So for these purposes, these device management system calls are triggered to understand whatever device it is, or whether we have to make necessary changes to make it compatible with our device. Now we are going to be talking about information management system calls. These system calls are mainly used for getting or setting time and date, getting or setting system data, or for getting or setting process, file or device attributes. The example of these system calls are get current process ID, set timer or sleep. The main use of these system calls is to understand the current process that is running in the system, or to get the time or date which is needed for further execution of the process that we are currently using, or to set the timer for future process execution. Next, we are going to be talking about communication system calls. These system calls are mainly used for creating or deleting communication connection, sending or receiving message, transfer status information, or attaching or detaching remote devices. Examples are create pipe, create file mapping, map view file, etc. The main use of this communication system call is to create a communication pipeline with two or more than two systems, or to send or receive messages or emails via these connected pipes, or to connect or detach or attach wireless devices that we need for input output or for any other peripheral uses. So now after we have learned of these different types of system calls, we are going to be looking at the example of such a system call execution. Here we can see the string is being inputted from the user using this function scanf. The scanf, when broken down, is simply reading the standard input. After the system recognizes a system call that has been made, the interrupt handler decides which type of system call it is and implements the system call based on the parameters that were passed with it in the kernel mode. And after the execution of the system call is completed, the kernel switches control over to the user, and the execution of the process continues. So now, after we have seen about all these different types of system calls and learned the basics of system call, now we are going to be looking at a demonstration of the execution of such a system call application. Here we are going to be using fork, exec and wait. Now, as you can see in this demonstration that I'm showing right now, I'm using three main system calls for process creation and execution. These system calls are fork, exec and wait. Now, the fork system call is used for creating a new process, which is called a child process, which runs concurrently with the process that makes the fork call, that is the parent process, as we had discussed before. After a new child process is created, both processes will execute the next instruction following the fork system call. It takes no parameters and returns an integer value to indicate whether the process was created successfully or not. Next, we are using execcv, which replaces the current running process with a new process. Using this command, the created child process does not have to run the same program as the parent process does. The exec type system call allow a process to run any program file, which include a binary executable or a shell script. Now, for the wait function, a call to wait blocks the calling process until one of its child process exits or a signal is received. After child process terminates, parent continues its execution after wait system call instruction. So to demonstrate the fork, exec CVM wait, and alongside explaining what is happening, I'm going to run the executable in the terminal since I've already compiled it before. So as you can see, the program is perfectly running, and the PID of the main program, which is the parent program, is 2212, or and it is also assigned as process A. So after we have printed this, the next command it shows that is P1 equal to 4. What P1 stores here is the return value from 4, which basically is of three types. Either it will be negative, either it will be 0, or either it will be positive. Negative, it returns when the fork command was unsuccessful in creating a process. 0 when it was successful, and positive to the and positive value it returns to the parent process. So if P1 equal to 0, we know that the fork has completely created a new child process. So what do we want to do in this child process is that right now the child process is running whatever the main process that is the main program had. So we have to remove all of that and run a factorial program. To do that, we are going to use execcv. What execv does is replace whatever that was inside this process, and replace it with the program that we are going to add as argument, pass as argument in here. So to pass it as argument, first I have to find the executables find the executable location for the factorial.c program. After I've done that, I have to pass that as an argument to the execv program, as you have seen here. After that completes, it will switch to factorial.c, and as you can see here, it switched to factorial.c, where it printed the child PID, which is 2213, parent PID, which is 2212, the main program. So we are going to run the factorial program. I am going to enter any number like 5, and the factorial is completely printed. So after that, after the factorial program has completely done its execution, it will again return back to the main program, where the wait.null will stop the parent program execution, and it returns the value null or 0 it receives. Once it receives these values, it's going to allow the parent program execution, and the next fork command will be executed. And same as before, if the return value is 0, it's going to run the prime.c, where the arguments in the execv is the prime.c's executable part. And after we have completely passed that, as you can see, it has switched to the prime number process. As you can see here, the child PID here printed, and as you can see here also, child PID is 2216 from parent PID 2212. So now what we are going to do is just checking prime number, right? So we are going to enter any number, and it's going to show that. And after that, it will again return back and keep the system from working, keep the main program from executing until the prime number program has completely done its execution. After that, it will safely return from the main program also and close down. As you can see here, the execution is completed. So with that, I have explained basically what system calls are, how do system call works, how are system call exactly implemented in the system, what types of system call are there, and also gave a brief description of each of them. And also along with that, I have explained with a demonstration for the process creation one. With that, I hope that you have understood what basically system calls are and their necessity. And I hope this video was helpful for you in understanding these basic concepts about system call, and basically how important they are for us as pro developers. Thank you.